GalaxyCon Richmond, let's give it up for the cast of What We Do in the Shadows.
Thank you.
Testing.
1, 2, 3.
You'd be surprised to know, everyone, Kayvan, that's just his natural accent, everyone. So you're going to be hearing it throughout the panel.
Yes.
Yeah. Kayvan, Harvey, first of all, thank you for being here in Richmond. Thank you for joining us.
Pleasure.
And
Love Richmond.
Yeah,
Thanks,
give it up for Richmond,
Yeah,
everybody.
man, Richmond. Richmond.
Yay.
And we love you too. Not you, Guillermo.
Oh, classic. He never changes.
Never changes.
Never
Some things
changes.
never change.
I just want to say congratulations on the series finale of What We Do in the Shadows. I feel like as an actor on a TV series, getting to go out on your own terms, essentially, right? Being able to finish the series without it, just ending due to a cancellation or a move-in has to feel amazing. You're basically on your victory tour right now, and you've got a ton of fans in this room that love the show, thought it was the funniest show on TV for years. So just tell us a little bit about the feeling now of fans now after the fact, again, on your victory tour here.
I mean, we are on a tour. We're trying to do as many cities and say hi and thank you to all the fans who supported us for so many seasons. So thank you to the fans. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's been pretty exciting. And finding out as we tell people, as they come say hi to us or get an autograph that, we love the finale. And it's like, that's so cool. Which one did you like? And they're like, no, I love the finale. And I was like, no, there's 3 different endings.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many of you guys knew that. Oh, so.
Has anyone not seen, make some noise if you haven't seen the finale.
Oh,
Yeah,
but you've
yeah,
all
we're
seen
good,
it.
we're good,
So
we're
that
good, we're
means
fans.
you've all seen it, but you've only seen one version of it then, because there's 3 different versions. But we didn't advertise it, so we wanted you to talk to each other and say, didn't you think it was funny how it ended? And it's like, wait, that's not how it ended. It ended this way. It's like, no, I think I know how the finale ended. I saw it. So you have 3 different versions that you can see. So now you know the show's not over. You still have episodes to watch.
Yeah. Right, because even within the episode itself, there were some false endings, if you will, right? We had the fake goodbye, then the documentary ends, then we have the secret lair, the pull the lever moment, and then we have the kind of mid-credit scene where you're all watching the documentary again. Are you referring to that, or you're saying like there's some new additional stuff?
No, there's
that we can
additional
see?
stuff to that. So the one that was our ending with Kayvan and I, or Nandor and Guillermo, was when we recreate the Bob Newhart finale of that sitcom. So we're in bed together, and he has an American accent, so he gets rid of his accent, which is pretty good. And there's another version.
Thank you.
And there's another version where Natasha, we basically recreate Rosemary's Baby, and she gives birth to a baby. I won't tell you what that baby looks like. But
It's got to be Colin Robinson, am I right?
I mean, maybe or maybe not.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe there's more than a baby. And there's another version where Colin Robinson is recreating The Usual Suspects. That's the movie.
Oh my God.
And Kristen Shaw is a detective.
Spoiler alert after spoiler alert.
Yeah. Well, that's the versions you missed, but there's so much that happens in that episode. So go look at those episodes.
Yeah, are they
cool.
released now? We can
They
see
are
them?
out. They
Oh
came
my
out at
gosh.
the same time. But
Oh my gosh.
some people saw a version on Hulu, and some people saw it on Disney Plus, and some people saw it on FX. So depending what you were watching it on, you got that episode version.
What? It's like Clue, the movie.
Yeah. So you have so many people who still have 2 more episodes to watch, basically.
That's amazing. I don't think that's such a cool Easter egg, because the show didn't necessarily advertise.
No, we didn't
that.
advertise it.
It's just a hidden fun fact for fans.
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
Some people were sad. They're like, I don't want to watch it because I know it'll be over. I was like, it's technically not, because you still have more episodes than you think.
Nice. Yeah, Kayvan, similar question to how we kind of started off. What's it like to have the fans now just come up and gush at your table and just, credit your series for being one of the funniest and best on TV?
Gush is a strong word. I love coming to meet you guys, man. It's the best, honestly. I love it. And it took me a minute, Harvey, this is my real voice, by the way. But I could just keep talking. It's much easier if I just keep talking like this. Harvey was like, listen, you got to come to these Comic-Cons. You got to come meet the fans. You got to do all this. You got to come meet them and sign and say hi. I was like, no, I don't know. I don't want to do that. He's like, come on. So then I did. I started coming to them last year. And I'm addicted. I love being here. I love it. You guys.
Because of you guys.
You guys are beautiful. Really, it's wonderful just to meet you guys and pose for photographs, and, sign creepy paper. And fucking guy.
I don't know if you can all see it from the cameras or up this close, or you've seen Kayvan at his table, but he's got real vampire fangs too, everybody. So
Brought them.
he's the genuine article, yeah. Oh God, we're gonna have to change that mic out
It's
now.
okay.
We're gonna sanitize that. Sanitize.
Do you have a favorite? Obviously, there were so many character arcs for both of your characters throughout the 5 seasons. But then you mentioned six. Oh my gosh,
6 seasons.
Yeah, my gosh.
He's missing a whole season.
I missed the whole. That's why I didn't know the ending of the thing. But as that final season came about, like I guess what were you most excited about for your characters wrapping things up?
I was interested to see how their relationship would end because after season 5 and Guillermo gets what he wants, Guillermo becomes a vampire, but it doesn't work out because it's not meant for him. He's not a natural-born killer. It's just we didn't know where 6 was gonna go.
Yeah.
So it goes into Canon Capital and that whole world, and it was really funny. Some of the funny stuff, I thought was in The Office and whatnot. And having Kayvan, there was a scene where he's the janitor, and he goes into the rec room, but he doesn't know about cleaning, so he just likes the position, and he looks around and goes, what the pigsty? And then he grabs his mop and knocks out all the cereals. He just knocks him out of the shelf, and that makes it worse. And I thought some of the funny stuff was just watching, Nandor and Naja in an office environment.
So good.
But I didn't know that was gonna happen. The writers, we could have taken that, and that became a different show.
Oh, totally. A brand new set, fun.
Yeah,
shit,
brand new set,
brand new
characters.
actors. Yeah. My gosh, Kayvan.
I guess the last season for me, if it's the last season, then you're gonna have to say goodbye at the end of it, and so, you start doing it, and you're like, oh, God, I've got to say goodbye in how many 3 months or something. And then you forget about that, and you just get back into it, and you just start playing again, and you're Nando, and it's Guillermo, and it's like, shut the fuck up, and then I'm a janitor, I want to clean this shit up, and then, and then it's kind of slowly approaching, and you got to say goodbye, and that, that is quite emotional. And when I watched the scenes that we filmed right at the end, when we're all around the piano and we're singing, "We meet again."
That's probably the saddest part.
When I watch that, it does make me quite emotional because that scene was so charged, really. With the kind of we're about, this is gonna be the last take, and we're gonna say goodbye at the end of it, and I'm gonna hug everyone and be like, "I'll see you now." Been so much fun.
Was that scene actually the last?
That was.
Yeah.
And we asked, Paul, our showrunner, when I saw him a couple months afterwards, I was like, did you purposely pick that scene to be? He's like, of course I did, because it's the last scene for our last day of shooting, and Guillermo is literally the only one who's still human in that room. Yeah. And they're like, just another day, and they're just around the piano, and they're singing, we'll meet again, don't know how, and I'm like, and I don't think it was written in the script that Guillermo gets emotional. He was just he exits the room quietly. And I was just and I started hyperventilating, the idea of and it was just and then leaving the room as they're in there, and I'm by myself in the little hallway or the foyer. And it was just I was a wreck. I don't think we did more than 2 takes because we couldn't reset my face because I was dripping just from the makeup.
It's because everyone forgot it was his birthday.
Was it also your birthday?
No, it was Matt Berry's birthday that night on May 2nd. But we wrapped at 11:45, and I was crying because the show was over. And after we wrapped, we're all drinking champagne. We're like, what a great. And then someone said, Harvey, isn't it your birthday? It's midnight. And I'm like, ah! And I started crying because it was what a full circle. No cake for me. And in true fashion, they forgot my birthday. Yes, Guillermo.
They stayed true to the character
to the end.
It was
true to the character to the end. And it was just what a way to end a year of my personal life and chapter, and then starting a new one on the night that we wrapped a show that I've been a part of my life for 7 years. So I was like, wow, yep, this is the perfect way to start a birthday.
Yeah, let's give it up. Who make some noise if you got emotional during that final scene? I think we all did. For sure. Well, thank you for answering my questions, but I want to turn it over to the fans because this is all about them asking their questions. So tell us your first name and your question.
Hi, I'm Viv.
Viv.
All about Viv.
And this is Chloe. And the truth is, we are here with 2 of our friends who really like this show. And we've never seen the show. And me personally...
Security!
Yeah.
Right? Right?
Sit down.
Viv, we said fans only. No, kidding.
I was wondering if you could convince me in 10 words for this to be like my first ever vampire media to consume for both of us?
10 words. One.
What do we have to do?
You have to
Convince
convince
her
her
to
to
watch
watch
the
the
show.
Watch the fucking show.
Watch
Thank
the
you.
fucking show. It's pretty,
That's enough, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's great. I second that. And that was less than 10 words.
Yeah.
So we win.
Hi, my name's Diana.
Hi, Dana.
Hi, Diana.
Hi. I'm curious about your process in finding these characters, the mannerisms, the voices, and accents. What was that process like?
For Guillermo, I didn't know any Guillermos when I auditioned because I was trying to be like, what does a Guillermo sound like, feel like? So I was reading the script and the character was like 10 years older than I am. So I was like, oh shit, he's older. And then, so I just tried to make myself look older. So I saw a picture at my writing partner's desk and it was a Guillermo del Toro Monsters book that he had. And Guillermo del Toro has like glasses and he has his hair parted in the middle and he has curls in this picture. And I was like, yes, that's what a Guillermo looks like. So I parted my hair in the middle and I did curls and I got Harry Potter glasses and I popped out the lenses. And then I brought this like sweater vest that I found at Goodwill and this like nasty orange long sleeve shirt. And I was like, no one on television would ever look like this. And then I showed up to the audition and I was like, yeah, this will make you look older. And I know that I'm not right for the part, but I wanted to meet the casting director. And I just know that he felt like since he was a servant and like, you know, familiar, he was submissive. So I lowered his like voice really soft. So when Guillermo talks in the house, he's really soft. He doesn't go louder than a soft whisper because he's afraid. He's afraid to get a demerit from him or from one of the vampires. So he's always talking in fear. And he always has that look of fear in his eyes. He's just fearful. And so when I auditioned, I was like, yeah, well, I probably won't get it, but I get to meet the casting director. And when I got the part and then we got to set, I was like, well, I wonder what he's going to wear, what he's going to look like. And Taika was like, yeah, what'd you do for the audition? I was like, oh, my hair, I was stupid. I did this like curl with the glasses. Yeah, that. And then I wore this ugly sweater, but I was thinking maybe he's like cool. And like, I was like, no, he's not, you know? And so I picked his hair, glasses, and outfit without knowing at the audition. And that's exactly what they kept for the series.
That's awesome.
So now when I see it in a Funko, I'm like, the hair I chose is the Funko, is now the Funko doll.
Immortalized forever as a Funko Pop.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Kayvan, how about your accent?
Well, I was a fan of the movie to begin with.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
I was a real fan. And then when I got the audition, I actually had a choice. So the choice was you can either go up for Nandor the Relentless. I was like, who's this guy? He's a Middle Eastern warrior. Or you can go up for Laszlo. So I was like, I don't know. I think I'll fancy Nandor for this one. And then I read it, and then, don't interrupt. And then when I started reading, you know, the script was like, I do, you know, pillaging and killing, and, you know, I'm pillaging everyone, you included. And I was like, oh, this sounds really good. This sounds good. And I guess Nando reminded me of Taika's character and also Jermaine's character in the movie. So I thought they're kind of blending these two together. So I thought, yeah, that feels about right. And the accent originally was kind of a Polish accent, actually, because, you know, I met some Polish people, you know, I don't know if any Polish people in the audience.
Polish, yeah.
One, I don't sound like that. Do I sound like that? Fucking guy. So and my hair was long at the time and it was fuzzy, so I just kept my hair long and fuzzy for the audition. And they said, if you want to wear fangs for the audition, then wear some fangs. So then I went and got some fangs and I stuck them in my teeth and I went and did the audition. and then I got the part. And so here we are.
Yeah, well, we love it. Did you read any lines as Lazo? Did you actually do some?
No.
You just went straight to.
No, and I'm glad I didn't, because when I met Matt the first time, he was like, "This part was actually written for me."
Oh, yeah.
So
I love it.
Shit,
I love it.
that would have.
Awesome. Let's hear it for their question, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey.
Hi.
Good to see you again. Do you have any favorite memories of working with Matt Berry on the show?
There we go. Segue.
Oh,
No.
I mean,
Who?
I would say, you know, because we all love the way that Matt says words. And sometimes you don't know he's going to say those words in the way that he says them. And when he does say them and you're sat kind of like this far away from him, you just feel that word kind of go right through you. And you have to kind of like take a moment not to laugh. And sometimes I have to admit that it has made me laugh instantly.
Yeah.
So I've either bit my tongue or just kind of stuck my fang in my lip. Don't fucking laugh. Yeah.
You do a sound. You go, you do like a pitch when you want to laugh.
No,
Do you know?
don't.
Yes, you do. When you're on set.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. You do a sound when
No,
he's gonna
I
laugh, and then
don't.
you break out and go. Ah, ha, ha.
Never done that. I'm a professional. Shut the fuck up. No. Honestly, I wait for those moments, and they always come. So that's
Yeah.
awesome.
My favorite with Matt is we had to do a scene where he's outside and he tells me, "You what?" And when I got made into a vampire by Derek, and I thought he figured it out, but he's like, that wasn't the question. And then he was naming Mexican dishes, and I'm like crying, telling him, I want to tell him I became a vampire, but I don't want him. He's like, he's gonna kill you. And then he had to do like, tell me a Mexican dish. And I was like, chilaquiles. Chilaquiles? And he's like, huevos, and I'm crying, but in the middle of the scene, he's like, another one. And I'm like, huevos rancheros. He goes, huevos rancheros? Burrito? You know, just naming all Mexican dishes while I'm crying, looking at him. But the camera's on him, and I just was laughing and crying at the same time. So that was fun. It's probably one of the funner memories.
Yeah. That was a very good Matt Berry, by the way. Nice job
Ooh.
there, yeah. All right, thank you for your question. Let's hear it from them.
Yeah.
Very good.
Oh, we see.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah! Guillermo!
Turn around so everybody can see you. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Story.
Hi, Story.
And my question's kind of similar to Diana's, but you have these characters that you build them up from like a concept to, they feel like a person that we know. Like Nandor has his little hand thing he does when he's anxious and things like that. So I guess, how do you do that? How do you create a character that feels like a friend that we have?
Good question.
I guess it depends on how that character's written, really. That's your best guide, I'd say. And then there's a director as well telling you what to do. But I guess all these characters have so much heart, I guess, and the way they interact with each other, you know, they treat each other like shit, but, you know, deep down they all love each other. And I think that's one of the big strengths of the show is, you know, it kind of reminds you of the dysfunctional relationships that you have in your life. Or maybe you don't, maybe you have.
Yeah, I think with Guillermo, it's the humanity that you like see in yourself and in others that like I bring into his interactions with the vampires, because the vampires are immortal and they've forgotten sometimes how to be human, but it sneaks in sometimes. Like there is moments where like Naja could have easily killed my family, and I plead with her and I beg her because we had a summer in London together and we became closer. And then even though she kind of like hesitates to do it, she does it because she still has a bit of human in her, even though she's immortal. So I think everyone does that. Nandor does that with the relationship with Guillermo, you know, not wanting to admit that he cares for him because he's too much of a big, you know, man.
I don't care.
Okay. And they all do that, even, you know, Laszlo, where he, you know, where Derek's dead on the floor, and then he sees how sad I am about that, losing a friend that I had to get killed. That's the only way to get rid of him. And Laszlo goes, all right, come on. And then walks me down to the necromancer and then, you know, makes him come back to life. Yeah. So he doesn't really die. So all those little moments, even though they're assholes sometimes, you know, for the most part in the household, they still have parts of human in them. And those are the parts that we relate to, because that's what makes us human. We want to connect to one another. And we do want each other to have, you know, succeed and have the best. So that's how I create the character, I think, for me and for all of us. That's how we connect.
Do you find that those little physical idiosyncrasies the story mentions come more from your emotions in the moment of playing the character, or do you create those physicalities to kind of get you into the character? I know that's a heavy actor question, you know, is it more
I think I
outward in or
find them
inward
in
out?
the moment. Like
Yeah.
if I'll be doing something with Nandor and Guillermo, like there's ways that he acts around him, even when he's brushing his hair. There's like this softness to it. There's like a intimacy there without saying it's that, but there's also like moments with the other characters where you just find it in the moment. There's like little moments that you find. I don't think those moments are necessarily written, but you find them on the day of, and those are, we continue to bring them back and sprinkle them on the season. Yeah.
Right. Awesome. Thank you, Story. Let's
Thank
hear a
Thank
further question.
you.
Yeah.
Amazing
Thank you.
job.
Yeah.
Yes. Hello.
Hi, I'm Amy.
Hi.
I have a non-show question, but an actor question.
Get out.
What's a show, past or present, that you wish you were a character on?
Oh.
Or and if you have a particular character that you wish you could have been, maybe.
Wow.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Everybody knows your name.
I mean, I grew up watching like I Love Lucy, so that
Yeah.
would have been fun to do like an I Love Lucy episode. Yeah, that'd be fun.
I feel like we would all pay a lot of money to see the characters of What We Do in the Shadows in Cheers. All just hanging out at a bar.
And
Jackie Daytona serving you all.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much for your question. Let's hear it for them, everyone.
Yeah.
There you go.
Our relationship, will they, won't they?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Hey.
Hey, I'm being gay over here.
I have a question. So I'm playing in D&D right now. I'm a character. I'm a vampire, but I'm a cowboy vampire. And Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
It's for nerds. It's fine. And I've tried like hissing at the other characters in the game, and it's lame. So I was wondering, Kayvan, how do you get the perfect intimidating hissing? Or Harvey, is it always just lame?
I think it's really cool when they do it. The first time they did it, their teeth fell out. On the pilot, they're like,
Mine did.
I think Matt's did. And then Natasha's kind of slipped or something. Yeah.
I think you just have to kind of, it's the emotion behind the hiss. You know, so you can do, very intimidating.
Oh.
There it is.
Or you could do, a bit more of a horny hiss.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
A masterclass on hissing, everybody. Come on. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I'm being gay over here.
Hi, my name is Maddie.
Hi, Maddie.
And I was wondering if there are any episodes in particular that you had like the most fun recording.
Well, Casino from season three, yeah, because we'd had 2020, and then so we came back in 2021, and we filmed it in
Niagara Falls.
In Niagara Falls, and we had this whole real casino that was just shut to kind of plan, and I just the vibe. We were staying in Niagara Falls. We were filming in this big empty casino.
No one was
we'd
there,
kind of
just
been-
us, just the crew.
We've
and
been
cast.
locked down for a year.
Yeah.
And then suddenly we were just like playing vampire again and like riding around on double-decker buses and shit. Just being like, I don't know. We all got a bit loony on that one.
Yeah. That was
So
fun.
that was a fun for me. And actually to watch back that episode, I don't know whether you guys really like the casino episode. Where
Yeah.
I love the casino so much.
Bazinga.
Bazinga. Original catchphrase.
That was good. I like that one.
You
I
don't
like
like
the
that
stu-
so
I like the
much, do
stunt
you?
stuff we did.
Yeah.
I like the Mosquito Club one was really fun because we had like Craig and everyone come in and
Spin-off.
spin off. That would have been a good spin off. But I like that was the first time I got to do stunts and like to do that in the 70s house family. Remember the vampires flipping off the vampires and falling out of the window? I really like doing that. I think that's when I got like bitten by the stunt bug and I wanted to do all my own stunts after that. So I think that was the first one that I was like, oh yeah, I want to do it. But then after looking back, I'm like, why did I do that?
Yeah.
Like it's so dangerous. But that was my favorite, I think. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Let's hear it for them,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Hi, I'm Brooklyn.
Hi, Brooklyn.
I was wondering which costumes were the most uncomfortable to wear on set? Like, which ones did you just want to get home and then change out of immediately?
Yeah, well, I mean, when we had to kind of fly or levitate, then you have to wear like a harness underneath your costume. So my costume usually has 4 or 5 layers, so you're gonna kind of add another layer to that on the bottom of these 5 layers. So, once you put that on, then you put the 5 layers on top of that, you ain't going to the toilet for a few hours. And then when they hoist you up, there's a moment where you're like, okay, this feels interesting. And but then once you're up there, you're fine.
Yeah.
You don't want to come down again.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's usually when a lot of the hissing happened, too.
Yeah,
So-
it is. Yeah, I discovered my inner hiss. in
Yeah.
that moment. Yeah.
My stuff was pretty easy. Like I always felt bad for these guys because like Natasha had to get like corsets and petticoats. And there was one time we're doing the one where the house is sinking, and remember baby Colin Robinson, is being left down there and the water's rising. And I had to go pick up the baby and walk out. And I just remember the funniest scene because Kayvan's still in his full warrior outfit, and he's wearing these knee-high boots. They're leather, and he's in water. So all the water went into the boot. So he's walking in the water, and he's like a robot. And then he got to the top, and he bent his knee, and all the water, like a waterfall, came out of his boot. And I was like, man, I don't envy those. Cause sometimes I'm like, they have the coolest outfits. I'm like, they always have the coolest outfits. But I would me and Mark would get ready in our outfits after they've been in hair and makeup for an hour and a half. They'd be like, oh, they're almost ready. Okay, I better put my sweater on.
Yeah.
Oh, close for the glasses. Ready. And they would come in with their giant pieces, but they looked amazing. So, shout out to our costume designer, Laura Montgomery, who won the Emmy for our show.
Yeah, amazing. Costume, and then obviously the sets. The house is so beautiful. Is the house still
no,
that set? Oh,
it's gone. They started destroying the set on the last day because they had to make room for the next show because we're in a sound stage. So that was kind of sad because it was happening in the show. Remember in the last episode, the crew was breaking down the sound. That was really happening. That's our real crew that you saw in the episode.
Oh, cool.
That's our real crew breaking down for the last day because they needed to do that after we wrapped. They might as well get it done during the show.
Amazing. Yeah. That's so cool. Let's hear further question. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Gotta catch them all.
Of course. Hi, my name is Marina. My question, it was really great to see everyone kind of showcasing their own personal cultures within their characters. Was that something that was always intended, or did that happen along the way?
I think that happened along the way. I think, with Guillermo, talking about his family and his background and, him being Mexican, and it was really cool to kind of play that and kind of dive into that and use words in Spanish and songs that people will come up to you and they're like, oh, I can't believe you used that song. That song's the song that my mom would play when, on Saturday at parties or something.
Oh, cool.
And then with Kayvan and I learned so many words. Farsi words that it was really cool to see the culture and with Natasha's character with her Greek background. It was really cool. I learned a lot of bad words in Greek. So yeah, it was really nice that they implemented that into the story, I think.
Yeah, I guess the first kind of nod to that, because Nando's supposed to be from Al-Nadal, but my heritage is Iranian, and it was the ghosts episode actually when our ghosts come alive, and my ghost is there, and he's like, Aspam John Sanon, so kind of bringing some Farsi into that was really cool to do that. Hat off to Jermaine and Taika, really. That it was they kind of started that.
And it does make a difference because people, I have one of my good friends, Farah Asadi, and she's like, that was the first time I think I've seen Farsi, in a show, in a comedy.
Vampires.
And about vampires, or in general in a comedy on TV that she was really into. And so it really does make a difference when you see, your culture up on screen represented. It's a nice little okay, it's nice and seen. Yeah, and it matters.
Totally matters. Thank you for your question. Awesome
Thank
question.
you.
Yeah. I feel like the opening credits really, you have one of the best opening credits to lead into a show because you see the nuggets that were planted there, right? You see the old photos from the different times. So I feel like as a fan or viewer, we were already kind of getting into it. We're like, ooh, they're all from different areas, different countries, different cultures. What happens when they all collide, right, in a home together? So cool. Yeah. Hey.
Hi, my name's Damien. Nice to see you again. I read somewhere that a lot of the work and a lot of the script that ended up on screen, there's quite a large amount of improvisation that made it to the final cut. What are your proudest bits of improvised work that made it, and what is a bit that you wish had made it and failed?
Oh, I mean, I can't remember half the things that we improvised because, when you read the scripts are all really, really good. But we always get a chance at the end of kind of shooting a scene to do a fun run, we call it, where we can just kind of go wild. And then, some bits might make it, some bits might not. But I guess for me, the most kind of memorable improvised bit would be, and it wasn't me I sung the song after this bit, but Jermaine was like, okay, you need to take that traffic cone and put it on your head. And I want you to say, I drank the drug. I drank the blood of some people, and the people were on drugs. Now I'm a wizard. And then, and then I did that, and then I was like, I drank some drug blood. I drank some drug blood. You know, and I did this kind of little dance with that. So, and that was actually the last thing I shot for season 1. It was the very, very, very last thing. And some people remember that scene to this day.
It's on several shirts and people and stickers and
memes, right?
Yeah. I think there's like Kayvan said, like there's so much stuff that.
Also, sorry to interrupt, but another kind of when we did the pilot, and we hadn't worked with Jermaine and Taika, but we didn't realize that the way that they work is that they have the script, and then when you do a few takes, they'll suddenly come up with a whole new kind of line to say, and you've really got to listen to what the fuck they're saying to you. So, you know, when you're there in the convenience store at midnight, and then Taika's gone, oh, look, it's crepe paper. Oh, it's creepy paper. Yeah. Oh, creepy paper, cool. And then you're like, okay, well, I've got to go creepy paper. But then the multi-pack, that was my bit.
Yeah.
Stayed in.
Yeah, they're so great.
Oh yeah, there's another one actually. I wanted to. Sorry, it was in season 5, I think. Could we pull up season 5?
Oh my God, shut up.
Let's show the clip. Let's show it.
And the floor is yours.
There is so many, like, and then we always say that I wish you guys could see the bloopers of stuff that, you know, we got so close when I was doing that, like, after show for Shadows during the pandemic. They gave us the bloopers and we were about to show it on the after show. And then the last minute, they were like, no, you can't show those. And I was like, what? And I was like, but you already said yes, we're about to go live. And they're like, no, you can't. And it's like legal from, you know, the network. It's like, better not. There's so much stuff that like maybe for like the 20th anniversary they're gonna release, but
we'll all be back here together.
Yeah.
And
there's so many things that like the script, like Kayvan said, is already so good that like we don't need to add anything. It'd be just perfect the way it is. But because we do get the liberty to do a funsies, you know, it's always nice to discover like something new that you're like when you have that freedom. But for me, it was like my favorite one was probably in the first season where, you know, when Guillermo's fed up and is like, Gizmo, where are the dildos? You know, Gizmo, how are the dildos? And so like, and I think I added like, they're fine. You know, and it's like the idea that Guillermo had to try out the dildos. Like the idea that this guy was like, you have to check them for the sex party. And it's like, that was probably my favorite because when I said that, Jermaine was directing, and he was behind the camera, and he went, ah, and he laughed, and his laugh, he has a really signature laugh. I can't do it. Can you do his laugh? I can't do his laugh. It's so good. But he laughed really loud, and it happened so quick after the joke that I thought we couldn't use it. I was like, thanks a lot, Jermaine, because you can't use the audio. But then he cut it, and he put it in the show. So when I saw it, it was a nice surprise, and it was perfectly cut right after I say, they're fine, cut, because then he laughs right after that. But that's one of my favorites, but there's so many, so yeah.
Thank you so much.
Let's hear for their question, everybody.
Thanks.
Hey.
Hi. I've got to put my glasses on, even though Wonder Woman doesn't wear glasses.
You're Wonder Woman.
You're both so gorgeous. I want to be able to see you properly. I wanted, first of all, thank you for being here.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask any comments you might would have on what I think is one of the funniest, you know, eps of the series is when Nandor joins the cult and Guillermo goes to rescue him.
I mean, that was a very fun episode to film. It was challenging because I had to learn a dance routine. And, you know, if it was Harvey learning a dance routine, he'd do it with his eyes closed, but...
No, he did really good. He taught himself. He did really well, right?
Oh,
yeah.
Come on.
Wonderful.
Thanks. Thank you. So, yeah, that was fun. What else
Cree
was fun?
Summers was your...
Oh, yeah. Cree Summers. Shout out to her.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Again, that was post-pandemic kind of, okay, guys, we're back and we're going to do all this crazy stuff and pulling my fangs out. And yeah,
you added a line in that episode. Remember at the end?
I?
What about Jeremy?
Did I?
Fuck Jeremy.
Oh, yeah. When you're saving me.
Yeah.
Actually, hats off to you because you did some fantastic stunt work in that to rescue me.
Thank you, to rescue you. Yeah.
I only fucked you up twice in that.
Yeah. That was one of my favorites, too. And again, working with Cree, who was, you know, Cree, I grew up watching her cartoons. You know, she's the voice of Inspector Gadget. She's Penny. She's the voice in Rugrats. Angelica's best friend. She goes, Angelica. You know, so I was looking forward to working with her, but she's been, you know, in the business forever, and she did such a great job. So like, what the fuck are you doing here, Guillermo? So she was great. That was a really fun episode, and it was written by Stephanie Robinson, who wrote that one, who's one of our executive producers and showrunners. So, yeah, that was a really great episode. Good job.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Let's hear it for them, everybody.
Hey, my name is Dave.
Hi, Dave.
Hi,
Nice
Dave.
to meet you both. I'm with this group called Comedy Sports, so I have to ask you an improv question. And since one was just asked, but I want to sort of go off of that, you have amazing writers, obviously, with this show. Do you get a chance to be a part of the writer's room and bounce off of them? And also part two, like in improv, a lot of stuff happens when you as a cast are not even on set. Do you get a chance to like, did y'all hang out together, play together, and go, oh, there's a good idea at the bar at midnight, and bring it back to the writers?
No.
Okay, thank you so much.
No, the only time I got to help out was when Guillermo was with his family, all the Spanish stuff.
Yeah.
So they welcomed me upstairs for like a brief, you know, like how would you talk in your household? Because you can only do Google Translate so much into Spanish, and then it's like, that doesn't sound like a real family talking, you know?
Right.
So they were nice enough to let me go up there and be like, what's the scenario? It's like, you're talking to your mom, you want to tell her you're not gonna come see her as often, so how would you say that in Spanish? So you have to have a dialogue by yourself, like you're talking to your mom and answering like your mom. And then I was like, I would say, oh. And then so I helped write that, but did not get writer's credit. But it was just, I mean, we do that on the set anyways. Like we kind of help, like, you know, ad-lib here and there.
Yeah.
But so we're kind of part of the creative team already on the floor when we improvise. And then they end up using that. So we kind of help that way. But the writers, they have, you know, the hardest job because they're so amazing at creating this, like, world. So we don't touch that.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, for the question. Were there any moments in seasons that that were unexpected? Like you had the full season, or you maybe didn't have the final episodes, and changes were made in the middle of the season by a writer, or you even mentioned Taika coming up with stuff like in the moment on set. Anything that kind of stands out? Some character moment?
Nothing really. I mean, I was always, you know, so delighted when I read the scripts the first time.
Yeah.
So no, there weren't any. Honestly, the biggest surprise was when, you know, the showrunner got us all on a Zoom 3 days before Christmas and said, this is going to be the last season.
Yeah. We thought it was a joke. I remember Kristen Shaw was in the thing. She went, ha! She like laughed. Well, then it was like, and then, good one. And we were just like, we're like, you're not serious, right? Because, I mean, the idea was that storylines were already written for 6 and 7. And because of the strike that happened with, you know, you have to think when you put things on hold, like you still have to pay for the space, like the sound stage. You have to put costume and everyone on hold, but you have to pay them like they were at work because you might go at any moment. So they're like, we might go like in a week. We might go in 2 weeks. We don't know how this strike is going to go, how long it's going to go. We went through the whole budget basically for 1 season, but we never recorded a word. So we kind of went through a budget of 7 seasons, but we could only give you 6 on tape. So that was the way that it worked because we had to set aside 6 and 7. Was like we were like, we're gonna go till 7. We knew that.
Yeah, I mean, through a pandemic and a strike, the fact that we got to 6 was
the fact that we survived a pandemic.
It's incredible.
We really did survive. Yeah.
Shout out, and that's again a credit to the writers, to the crew,
I mean, to FX, you know, they're paying for it.
Yeah, and this is the show that, like, the little show that could, because we really, after the pandemic, I was like, there's no way. Like, it was season 2.
Yeah.
And we're like, we're not coming back from this. We're barely getting our feet, you know, up, and we did it, and we, you know, I think it's credit to everyone who works on the show, from, you know, the carpenters to costume to everyone who really loves the show. They go above and beyond. Like, during the pandemic, we couldn't get wood to build new sets to deliver to Canada. Like, we couldn't get materials to make costumes, and the heads of the departments went above and beyond to outsource nearby places to get the stuff they needed, because otherwise we would have shut production. We'd be like, no more shadows for this year. But they went above and beyond, and so you guys should really know that that's who made the show continue. It was the crew. Yeah.
And now we can't get wood from Canada again, so it's full circle.
Full circle. Full circle.
Hey, come on down.
Hi, my name's Xander.
Hi.
Hi. was just wondering if there were any moments through the last season for aspects of your character that you would have liked to explore before the show ended that you didn't get the chance to?
Yeah. I think I would have wanted more like backstory to like the Van Helsing side for him to like find out where he, and really dive into that. There was, we joked that like when they go off and they say we could fight crime together at the end of the, like everyone's, you guys should. It's like we would totally. I know I would like do a spin-off where like we find out where Nandor and Guillermo are now.
FX.
Yeah. But that for me, it's just like exploring more of that side, which would be a great jumping point.
I would say I was spoiled really as Nandor. I got to do so many different things, gone so many kind of journeys and then just come straight back to being Nandor again. Eat, pray, love, and my wives, and I'm a human now, and I'm a warrior. No, I'm not. I'm depressed. I think he's bipolar now.
Yeah.
He goes to therapy.
That would be good. Go to
That would
therapy.
be good. Yeah.
Isn't that kind of the ultimate theme of the show and how it wrapped, though? That like no matter what you go through and all these different things that happen, it's all about your chosen family. At the end of the day,
I'd say a good one would be if I know it's never going to happen, but if Nandor went to therapy, ended up eating his therapist, and then had to pretend to be a therapist.
The clients that come in.
I know.
Yeah.
You're pathetic. No, tell me more. Stop whining, you little bitch. Did I say that out loud?
See you next week.
Season 7 coming soon.
Yeah, we've got so many good ideas in Spinoffs. I love it.
We got one good idea.
Yeah, one good
Exaggerate.
Thank you for your question. Let's hear it from everybody. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, come on up.
Hi.
Hi.
I wanted to know if any of y'all thought that Guillermo might be like on a spectrum, because like watching the show, but like watching the show, like I'm on a spectrum, and so I kind of feel like empowered by the relationships within the show with Guillermo and everybody else, and like having fixations on being a vampire and everything. Like I feel like there's something there that could be kind of explored.
I never thought of like that, but you could be right. I think because of all the things that were written for him, like the way that he wants to be a vampire, he was part. Van Helsing is running through his blood. He wants to be a good, son, and like there's so many things and so many roads that he's taking. If anything, he might be a little bit of ADHD, because he's just like he's always jumping from one thing, but he has the pressure of being this like familiar to a household that disrespects him. So yeah, I could totally see how that could come across as that. So I'll let you decide, because if it's helpful, to lean into that, then that's what it's meant to do. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Hey, come on now.
How you doing?
Who said that?
Let's give it up for
Shut the fuck
her
up.
for a really great
No,
question.
don't.
Yes.
Yes.
Great question for her.
Hi, I'm Lance.
Hi, Lance.
How you doing? So you guys added a lot of popular vampire characters from film and television. I was curious, was there ever any that you weren't able to add that you attempted to add, or that you would have liked to have added to the show at some point?
Brad Pitt.
Oh no! Actually, they were thinking an early draft of the orgy episode from season 1. They were going to have the Count from Sesame Street, but they thought that would be just one step too far. And also, how many kids' lives are you ruining after that fucking choice? So,
Counting strokes.
Yeah.
Two,
One
three,
cock, 2 dicks, 3 dicks. I love sucking. I mean, counting.
Whoa. Thank you for your question. Let's hear it for their
The
question.
representatives of Sesame Street are right here.
I'd love to be on that. Do you think I still
You're
gonna-
not.
I'll
You're
buy
not
it.
gonna. You're not.
If you had any chances,
Not after tonight.
You said what? I got you an elbow tryout, you idiot.
Hey, everybody. I'm Christian Shaw.
You're definitely not.
Oh no, I've cancelled myself.
Next question, please.
Yes, hi. Hi, I'm Lilia. And
Hi.
my question was, what was the hardest scene to keep a straight face on? Because there are so many hysterical scenes in that show.
Do we? I tell you, in the the scenes in the fancy room, when we're kind of just all talking over each other, that can get a bit kind of fun.
Yeah, when we're all in the same room.
Yeah.
I think because we don't know the next read how someone's gonna say it.
Sure.
And it's so hard because everyone's so good, and so yeah, I think the fancy room was like our cage, of what's gonna happen. Because whenever we're together in the same room, it was like, see, when I'm with Kayvan, I know I'm gonna probably break, and like I have to keep it to see. It's the laugh that he makes, but like it's like you and Guillermo's so like put together that he can't have a at least with like Naja, she could be like, you stupid monkey, you can add an ad lib and be big, and Matt Berry can do like, ooh, feisty, and Guillermo doesn't do that. He's just always has to be the straight man. He's always like put together. So it's the hardest because Kayvan makes me break like the most out of everyone. So most of my scenes for the first 4 seasons were with Kayvan, or even 5. Like, so that was, but it's also the best.
Those kind of last days or the last day of filming a season, you find that you kind of have a lot of scenes to do in that last final day because they have to finish by a certain point. And if we've got scenes together and it's like 2, 3, 4 in the morning, and we're just gonna keep going and keep going, and then I get a bit punchy.
Loopy,
It's like, whoa.
There was that scene where we had to go into your room really quick, and that's the laugh, see? And he would go to the door, he's like, oh. And we have to go back to 1, and I was like, Kayvan, and see, that's the laugh again. And so he goes back, and he's like, and he does it again, and we have to go back to 1, and we don't even finish the scene, and then even like the director, like I think it was Yana, I was like, okay guys, we gotta get the scene, we're like, yeah, we gotta get the scene. It was like a quick scene by the door where I asked him a question. He's like, why the, yes. So we did like 5, 6 takes of that, but then there ends up being like your favorite memory of that day, because you're like, if you're not having fun, then we won't create something fun for you to watch, because it has to be fun, so yeah.
Awesome. Let's hear it for them, everybody.
Yeah.
We're almost out of time. It's hard to tell how many people are in line here. Let's try to get through at least.
There's only 45.
Rapid fire round.
Yeah, like we can do it. Yeah. Oh yeah, we can do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Quick question, quick answers. Let's go for it.
I'm Cade, and I was just wondering if this has already been asked before. I'm sorry, but if you could play any other character on the show, who would you choose?
Oh.
The doll.
Good answer, the doll.
I think no, it would be Nandor still. Sorry.
Next.
Awesome. Let's hear it for them. Yeah.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Kay.
Hi.
So my question is, what are your thoughts on Nandormo? And do you wish if anything was more explicit?
Not this shit again. It's never gonna happen. Next question.
I think they ended up together. They ended up together in their way. So they
not
did.
in that way.
Not in that way, but in the way that they're meant to be. They ended
Yeah.
up together. Next question.
Yeah, I think that's right. Let's hear it for them still, though.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Morgan. Richmond's a spooky town. We claim the Richmond vampire and Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah.
Favorite horror media that is not vampires, no bloodsuckers allowed.
Oh, Alien.
Yes. Yeah.
That's good. I still like vampires. Hey, can be vampires? Okay,
No
then
vampires allowed.
I'll do like creatures of the Black Lagoon or something.
Ooh, yeah. Universal monsters. in
Universal
general.
monsters, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for
Great
your question.
job.
Yeah.
Next.
Hi. My name's also Andrew. I've been wanting to be an actor since I was a kid, but I always go back and forth on it. Was it worth it to make it, even if it was really hard?
Everything that's hard that you want to do and you love to do is worth it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Put that on a T-shirt.
Then
And hey,
hi.
final question. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm Arlo. And my question is, did you steal any props from the set?
Yes.
And if so, which was your favorite one?
I didn't steal. I asked, and they said no, and I still took it. But I got Guillermo's original Casio watch, his original glasses from the pilot, and his original sweater. Yeah.
I didn't steal anything.
You got the teeth. You got the teeth.
Got
Give it
the
up for
teeth,
that
give it
final
yes.
question,
Thank you.
everybody. Woo! Hey, everyone, please give it up. Don't forget to watch all 3 endings. I'm so excited. That's what I'm going to go home and do. Watch all 3 endings of What We Do in the Shadows, one of the greatest and funniest TV shows of all time. Let's give it up for Harvey, Guillén, and Kayvan Novak. We're going to do a big stage selfie, so come on up. Not on the stage, but close to the stage here.